Imagine you're sitting down after a long day in this plush, perforated leather recliner.
Oh, sounds ideal, honestly.
Right. And you're getting a deep tissue massage. You reach down to grab a cold drink out of a built-in refrigerator, and a high-definition flat-screen TV just glides silently across the ceiling to stop at, like, the perfect viewing angle right in front of your face.
I mean, that is a pretty incredible living room setup.
It is. But now I want you to imagine that entire living room is hurtling down the highway at 70 miles per hour.
Which is a wild visual, but yeah, that is the reality of modern automotive design right now.
It totally shatters the 100-year-old hierarchy of what a car is actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, traditionally you have an engine, a steering wheel, and, some seats bolted inside a metal box just to get you from point A to point B.
Yeah, it was strictly functional. It was purely about utility and forward momentum.
Right.
For a century, the philosophy was that the driver was the absolute master of the domain, and everyone else inside that metal box was essentially just cargo being ferried around.
Yeah, comfort was basically an afterthought to combustion.
Exactly.
But today, we are looking at source material that completely flips that script. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are analyzing a really detailed, hands-on video review from the YouTube channel The Ride and Place, where they got up close and personal with the newly released Zeekr 9X.
Right, which is a luxury 6-seater hybrid vehicle hitting the Chinese market.
Yeah, and the reviewer flat out calls this, quote, probably the nicest car I've reviewed or seen.
Which is an incredibly heavy statement to make, especially considering the sheer volume and rapid, almost frantic iteration of vehicles coming out of that specific market right now.
Oh, for sure. The competition over there is just fierce. It's forcing manufacturers to innovate at a breakneck pace.
Yeah, they really have no choice.
So our mission today is to dig into the mind-boggling level of hyper detail in the Zeekr 9X's engineering. We want to understand how modern vehicles are totally redefining passenger autonomy, utility, and luxury for you. Okay, let's unpack this because we have a massive amount of ground to cover.
We really do. But, just to ground us before we dive into these specs, and they are wild specs, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It's vital to remember that in a world of information and absolute feature overload, the most successful designs are the ones that blend seamlessly into the user's lifestyle.
Right. They don't just throw screens and motors at you for the sake of marketing.
Exactly. They anticipate needs you might not even realize you have until you experience the solution.
And to see how they do that, let's look at the mechanical foundation first.
Mm-hmm.
So the physical footprint of this thing is commanding. The front of the 9X features this striking, completely flat bonnet that only creases off at the very edges, and it's paired with this stealthy, blacked-out Zeekr badge.
It's a very clean look.
It is. But what caught my eye immediately in the video was the front grille. It isn't just a static piece of plastic mesh, It has active grille flaps that physically open and close on their own.
Yeah, which is a brilliant piece of engineering.
It really reminds me of the pores on human skin. Like when we run and get hot, our pores open to sweat and manage thermoregulation, right? And when we're cold, they close up to conserve heat.
Yeah.
This car is basically doing biological thermoregulation.
That is a phenomenal way to look at it, actually. And it's a crucial piece of engineering for a hybrid vehicle specifically.
Because of the dual engines.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have an internal combustion engine working in tandem with a heavy electric powertrain, your cooling needs are constantly in flux.
Right.
So if the combustion engine is dormant and you're cruising purely on electric battery power, the car doesn't need a massive air intake.
So it just closes off.
Exactly. Those flaps shut tight. That creates a smooth aerodynamic surface across the front of the vehicle, reducing drag and maximizing your battery range.
Oh, wow, that's smart.
But the second you demand more power and that combustion engine kicks on, which generates intense heat, the car senses that thermal shift and actively opens those flaps to suck in cold air.
And it needs all the efficiency it can get, honestly, considering what's connecting it to the road. It's rolling on massive 22-inch rims sporting Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tires.
Which is serious rubber.
Right. Now, seeing high-performance sports car tires on a massive 6-seater hybrid tells you everything you need to know about the sheer weight and torque we are dealing with here.
Absolutely.
But if the front of the car is all about mechanical efficiency, the rear of the car completely blurs the line between a vehicle and a mobile home base. Like it has a split-door boot system, the top glass half goes up, and the lower metal part drops down perfectly flat to create a tailgate.
And that tailgate is strong enough to comfortably seat 2 to 3 people.
Oh, yeah. It's wild.
By engineering the tailgate to drop down like that, they've shifted the psychological purpose of the trunk. It goes from being a dark, dusty storage locker for groceries into an active, outward-facing social space.
And they really lean into that utility, too. The boot is lined with this incredibly tough, durable carpet material. But hidden inside that boot wall is a 220-volt, 2200-watt AC socket.
Which is just a massive amount of power.
Right. The reviewer specifically points out that this is enough juice to easily power a microwave or a high-end desktop computer while you're parked out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But hold on, let me push back on this for a second.
Sure.
If I am running a 2200-watt microwave off the trunk of my car in the middle of a forest, aren't I draining the exact battery I need to drive home? Like, how does the hybrid system manage that massive parasitic draw without leaving you completely stranded?
What's fascinating here is how the hybrid architecture solves that exact anxiety.
Okay.
In a standard electric vehicle, yes, pulling 2200 watts to run appliances would drain your primary propulsion battery, which, induces major range anxiety.
Definitely.
But the Zeekr 9X is a hybrid. It has a gas engine.
Oh, right.
So if you are out glamping and you run the electric battery down while microwaving food or running a projector for a movie night, the car's internal brain detects the voltage drop.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it can automatically turn on the internal combustion engine to act as a localized generator, recharging the battery pack while you just sit there.
That is insane.
It really is. And this isn't just a gimmick. It is a direct response to a cultural shift. People want to be out in nature, they want to work remotely from beautiful locations, but they refuse to sacrifice modern convenience.
Yeah, nobody wants to rough it anymore.
Exactly. The car is no longer just the thing that gets you to the campsite. The car is the power grid for the campsite.
That completely redefines the value of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And they've engineered this base camp with serious safety parameters, too. The reviewer noticed that when that massive boot lid opens up, it obscures the primary taillights.
Right, which is a major hazard.
Yeah, so Zeekr installed secondary LED lighting hidden perfectly inside the lip of the boot lid.
Which is a brilliant piece of practical safety engineering. Because think about it. If you're pulled over on a dark highway shoulder at night, digging through your trunk to find a first aid kit or powering up a tool, your open tailgate is blocking your hazard lights from anyone driving up behind you.
At 70 miles an hour, yeah.
You are incredibly vulnerable. So by placing high-quality LEDs on the interior lip that only illuminate when the trunk is open, they ensure the vehicle remains highly visible to approaching traffic. They anticipated a lethal danger and just engineered it out of existence.
So if the rear of the car has been redesigned to be a functional mobile campsite,
Yeah.
it really begs the question, what happens to the actual passengers inside?
Right, the interior.
Because the traditional logic is that the driver gets all the luxury and the passengers just get ferried around in the back. But stepping into the Zeekr completely flips that hierarchy. First of all, you don't even slam the doors.
No, you don't.
They are electronic, soft, closed doors that open incredibly wide, like up to 90 degrees. And because the car features an adjustable air suspension system, it physically lowers itself, offering up built-in runners so you can step inside effortlessly.
It acts more like a private jet lowering its stairs, honestly.
Yeah.
The vehicle is physically greeting you rather than forcing you to contort your body to climb inside.
And once you step inside, it is an absolute sensory overload in the best way possible. For anyone who isn't a car enthusiast, let me paint the picture. You are surrounded by wood trims, Napa leather, and Alcantara.
Which is that high-grip synthetic suede material usually reserved for million-dollar race cars.
Right. And the audio is pumped through a name premium sound system, which is basically like putting a high-end British recording studio directly inside the cabin.
It's top tier.
But the middle row is where things get truly wild. These aren't just bench seats. They are independent executive captain's chairs.
Oh yeah, they are massive.
They have their own tactile controls for heating, cooling, motorized thigh support, and a massage function where you can actually dial in the specific intensity of the massage.
Which is just crazy.
Plus, behind the front passenger seat, there is a fold-down flat table for working on a laptop or eating a meal.
Notice the psychological shift happening here. They're treating the middle row passenger not as cargo, but as a CEO in a mobile corner office.
Yeah, that's a great way to phrase it.
The level of independent tactile control means you aren't relying on the driver to make you comfortable. You aren't asking the person up front to turn on your seat heater or, adjust the air conditioning for you.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, the entertainment setup. You aren't just staring at a tiny iPad strapped to the back of a headrest.
No, not at all.
There's a massive floating screen mounted to the roof.
Yeah.
But it's not static. It is mounted on electronic rails built into the ceiling. You press a button, and the monitor physically glides forward and back to stop at your exact optimal viewing distance.
It's something out of a sci-fi movie.
Totally. And to control it, you don't have to reach up and smudge the screen with your fingers. There is a secondary pop-out screen housed in the armrest that acts like a handheld smartphone remote.
Right.
Oh, and right below that, there's a built-in refrigerator with its own dedicated digital temperature controls.
Of course there is.
Now, I have to ask, with rails on the ceiling, pop-out remotes in the armrests, and built-in fridges, are we risking extreme screen fatigue and cognitive overload? Or is this genuinely the new baseline for what we should consider luxury?
It's a fantastic question, and it really speaks to a concept we can call the flattening of the automotive hierarchy.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, as we discussed, the driver used to be the absolute master of the domain. They controlled the radio station, the cabin temperature, the route, everything.
Right, everyone else was just along for the ride.
Exactly. But what the Zeekr 9X is doing is democratizing the luxury experience. By giving passengers a pop-out remote, you are giving them agency.
It's mirroring their living room behavior.
Right.
Like, when I'm on my couch at home, I don't walk up to the TV to change the channel. I use a remote.
Precisely. And that actually reduces cognitive load rather than adding to it, because the interface comes to you. The screen glides to your eye level. The remote sits naturally in your palm.
Yeah, you aren't reaching or stretching.
Right. Is it a lot of digital real estate? Yes. But because it adapts to the human body's resting position, it feels luxurious rather than fatiguing. It sets a new baseline where the machine adapts to the passenger instead of forcing the passenger to adapt to the machine.
And that democratic philosophy even extends to the third row. Usually, the third row of any SUV is just the penalty box.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's where you stick the kids, your knees are against your chin because there's no legroom, and you're sweating because the AC vents don't reach back there. But in this Zeekr, the third row has electronic recline, heated seats, dedicated cup holders, ambient lighting, and their own USB-C fast charging ports.
It's a massive upgrade.
They even have a dedicated electronic sunshade just for the back row glass, which they control themselves.
Which is practically unheard of in consumer vehicles. Usually, if a third row gets a sunshade at all, it's a cheap manual clip-on piece of mesh.
Yeah, that always falls off.
Exactly. Giving a passenger in the very back their own electronic environmental control is a massive psychological boost. It validates their presence in the car.
And if they need to talk to the driver, they don't have to scream over the name sound system. There's a built-in intercom button in the third row.
This part is so cool.
You press it, and microphones pick up your voice and enhance it through the front speakers so you can speak to the driver at a normal conversational volume.
Again, flattening the hierarchy. Every single passenger in this six-seater is treated as if they are the primary owner holding the keys to the vehicle.
It really forces you to think about how you value comfort in your own daily commute. When every seat is the best seat in the house, the social dynamic of taking a road trip completely changes. Like the days of siblings physically fighting over who gets to ride shotgun are basically over.
They really are. Nobody's fighting for the front seat when the back has a fridge and a gliding TV.
True. Okay, so the passenger cabin is essentially a 5-star lounge on wheels. But someone still has to pilot this hybrid spaceship. Let's shift our focus to the driver's command center. The front door opens a full 70 degrees for incredibly easy access. The seats are that same perforated Nappa leather, but the driver's seat actually has high-fidelity speakers built directly into the headrests.
Which is a brilliant application of spatial audio mechanics. By putting speakers inches from the driver's ears, the car can isolate audio information.
Also,
Well, the navigation system can gently whisper turn-by-turn directions directly to the driver without interrupting the music or the movie audio playing for the passengers in the back.
oh wow, so it compartmentalizes the data.
Exactly.
And speaking of data, the charging situation up front is wildly over-engineered.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there are dual 60-watt USB-C ports in the center console. Now, the reviewer rightly points out that most smartphones can't even handle 60 watts of charging right now.
No, not even close.
And on top of that, there are 2 wireless charging pads, But they aren't just flat pieces of plastic. They are actively ventilated.
This is such a smart detail.
They have fans blowing air across your device to prevent your phone from overheating while it charges. Now think about the last time you left your phone sitting on your dashboard running Google Maps in the summer sun.
It gets screaming hot.
Right. The screen automatically dims to protect itself, and the battery actually drains instead of charging.
Yeah. Zeekr engineered that exact universal frustration out of existence. That detail shows a deep understanding of lithium-ion battery chemistry.
Because of the heat.
Yeah, wireless charging relies on magnetic induction, and a heavy byproduct of induction is heat. Heat degrades battery health over time.
Which nobody wants.
Right, so by actively ventilating the charging pad, they are treating your $1,000 smartphone like a miniature engine that needs its own radiator. They are protecting your device while ensuring it takes the maximum charge.
That makes total sense.
And regarding those 60-watt USB-C ports, that much wattage means you aren't just fast charging a phone. You can natively power a high-end laptop straight from the center console without needing to buy a bulky aftermarket power inverter.
So the driver's seat just doubles as a mobile workstation.
Basically, yeah.
But how the driver actually interacts with the car while in motion is where the design philosophy gets really tense. Like, the steering wheel itself is described as clutter-free, with a camera mounted on the steering column, specifically tracking your eye movements to monitor your tiredness level.
Yeah, that's pretty standard for high-end tech now.
Right, but the display situation is intense. You have a head-up display projecting speed and navigation directly onto the windshield glass. Then you have a signature Zeekr curved digital screen sitting right behind the steering wheel for your gauges. And finally, a massive, crisp central touchscreen hanging off the dashboard to control your 360-degree cameras, your climate, and your apps.
It is 3 distinct, overlapping layers of visual information just bombarding the driver.
Exactly. It's like sitting in a modern fighter pilot's cockpit. But despite all these massive, infinite touchscreens, the designers made a very specific, almost old-school choice.
Right, the buttons.
Yeah. Down in the center console beneath the screens, there is a physical row of tactile, piano-style buttons for a few essential functions. We're talking about the hazard lights, opening the boot, and lowering the air suspension. You can actually feel them click.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights the ongoing high-stakes tension in automotive design right now. There is a war between touchscreen innovation and primal physical human constraints.
Right, because screens are everywhere now.
Touchscreens are infinite. You can update them over the air via Wi-Fi. You can hide 1,000 submenus inside them, but they fundamentally require visual confirmation.
Yeah, you have to look down.
You have to take your eyes off the highway to know if your finger actually tapped a digital button.
Because you can't rely on muscle memory when the screen is perfectly flat.
Precisely. And in an emergency, let's say, traffic suddenly stops dead on the highway or you blow a tire, your brain instantly enters a fight-or-flight state. Your adrenaline spikes.
And you kind of panic.
Yeah. In that moment of panic, you do not have the cognitive bandwidth or the fine motor skills to navigate a digital submenu to find the hazard lights. You need gross motor skills.
Something you can just grab.
You need a physical mechanical button that you can smash with your palm without looking. The fact that Zeekr retained these tactile piano buttons for critical safety functions shows that they deeply understand the limits of a purely digital interface.
Right. They know exactly where the luxury screens must end and where primal human instinct begins. And that tension between human control and digital automation perfectly transitions into the final and perhaps most futuristic detail of the exterior. This car is loaded with autonomous driving hardware. I'm talking cameras on the windshield, radar on the side mirrors, sensors on the rear.
The full suite, yeah.
But it also features specific, vibrant, blue illumination lights on the front grille, the sides, and split blue indicators on the rear. These blue lights exist for one reason only: to signal to the outside world when the car is actively operating in its AI autonomous driving mode.
Which is such a massive detail.
So what does this all mean for us?
It means we are witnessing a monumental sociological shift in real time. We are watching the visual contract of the road being rewritten.
Wait, the visual contract?
Yes. For the last 100 years since the invention of the automobile, the safety contract of the road has strictly been between human beings. Like if you are a pedestrian waiting to cross a busy street, what is the very first thing you do?
You look at the driver. You make eye contact to ensure they see you before you step off the curb. You need that little nod or that wave of the hand.
Exactly. But what happens when the car is driving itself?
Oh, wow.
What happens when the person sitting in the driver's seat is reading a book or turning entirely around to talk to their kids in the middle row.
Yeah, that human-to-human visual contract is instantly broken.
Pedestrians, cyclists, other drivers, they need a definitive way to know that the machine sees them. By integrating these exterior blue lights, the car is visually communicating its AI status to the surrounding environment.
That makes total sense.
It's a completely new vocabulary for the road, on par with the invention of the turn signal or the brake light. The glowing blue light is the car broadcasting, "I have the controls, my sensors are active, I see you." It's about establishing trust between a 2-ton moving robot and the squishy human beings walking around outside of it.
It is genuinely wild to think that we're having to invent a brand new visual language just to let pedestrians know they aren't about to get run over by a computer.
It is a whole new world.
Okay, let's take a breath and recap this incredible journey we've just been on. We started with a vehicle that has an active biological-style breathing grill and a microwave-ready 2200-watt power socket tucked into a boot that drops down to double as a campsite couch.
Yeah, such a cool feature.
Then we moved inside to a passenger cabin that features a gliding ceiling TV, a dedicated refrigerator, pop-out remotes, and third-row seats that are treated with the exact same executive respect as the front row.
The democratization of luxury.
Exactly. And finally, we ended up in a pilot seat that charges your laptop natively, physically monitors your eye fatigue, relies on old-school piano buttons for primal safety, and beams blue light to pedestrians to let them know the AI has taken the wheel. Understanding the hyper-detailed passenger-first engineering of the Zeekr 9X totally resets the bar for what you should expect from your next vehicle.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just a car, it really is a hyper-intelligent mobile living room.
It absolutely is. And this raises an important question, something I'd love for you, the listener, to mull over as you go about your day. We've seen how vehicles like the Zeekr 9X are heavily investing in the cabin as this luxurious, screen-filled, highly autonomous space. But it still fundamentally requires a steering wheel, right?
Yeah, for now.
It still requires a human driver to occasionally take over when AI gets confused. But what happens to the entire philosophy of car design the day that steering wheel is legally allowed to be removed entirely?
Wow.
When the front seats can legally face backward to create a 4-person face-to-face lounge while hurtling down the highway at 70 miles an hour, will we even call them cars anymore? Or have we just invented the world's fastest, most luxurious living rooms?
From the sounds of it, hanging out in the living room might just become the best part of the entire road trip. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.